at ClinicHorsemanship.com, and welcome to our first coffee coaching session. And I'm so excited today to start with our first question. I'm starting a new horse, well, new to me. She is 14 years old and has been shown a lot. My goal is to be able to tack her up and have her stand quietly at the mounting block. The sight of the saddle escalates her anxiety. When I tried her in the fall, it took me 45 minutes just to get her to stand next to the mounting block for more than a few seconds. Another girl tried her for 6 weeks and sent her back. I can do this, right? I am here to tell you, yes, you can, but you need to break each piece down into little pieces and little parts. Step 1, pretend she's never been started before. Don't even bother working with her with a saddle on. Just put your handy rope halter with a rope back on her. Get a mounting block that is not the stationary kind where everyone's lining up in your barn to use the mounting block. Go ahead and buy one of those $20 stools with the tack box in it, so you can cart that thing around and move it wherever you need to go. Stand on that mounting block and work her from there. Get her to pass by you in each direction, and if she wants to move, go ahead and let her move, but then just aim for getting her to just stand quietly. Even if she stands for one step, pet her. Do what they say, rub the hair off of her. Rub her to death. And then keep trying to get her to step one step closer, one step closer. Every one step closer she gets to you, pet her to death. And then keep doing that until you've gotten her to the position that you would be in if you were going to mount on her. And hang your arm over the side of her, over her back, and just rub her to death. Make her feel like that is the best place in the world she could ever be. And do that on each side. So that's day 1. Don't do anything else after that. Put her away. Step 2. Mindy Bauer has an excellent exercise for something like this. And what she does is she has riders sit on the fence and work their horses from the fence. Now this exercise is great for horses that have anxiety about mounting blocks or saddling, anything like that, because it takes a tremendous amount of trust from the horse for you to be able to have them go past you with you sitting above them. Now you can have your saddle sitting on the fence next to you just so it's there and she gets used to seeing it around, and there's nothing anxious about that. Get her to move in those half circles around you until you can get her to pass along the front of you and stop. And you can pet her head again. As soon as she stops in front of you and you can reach out, go ahead and rub her head, pet her, make her feel like it's the greatest place she could ever be. And keep doing that until you can sometimes, reach a foot out and rub on her and rub on the top of her neck and get her to do that in each direction. So it takes a tremendous amount of trust for your horse to be able to switch eyes and trust that they'll be okay with you above them. Step 3, again, have your rope halter on her and work her in an enclosed space. So again, in your round pen, or if your arena is fenced in, go ahead and use there. And only use your saddle pad. So first she's going to want to move. Let her move. So if you go ahead and move your saddle pad around a little bit, she's probably going to move around. Just stay with her and keep moving it lightly until she stops for one step. The second she stops, you stop. Stop, let down. Put the saddle pad just under your arm and go up and pet her to death. Pet her to death. Rub the hair off of her, as they say. Then just keep doing that on each side until you can get to where you can throw the saddle pad over her back, pet her to death, and then do that just a few times until you see her take a breath. And then just leave the pad on her and just pet her to death. Stop. Don't do anything else that day. See if you can get that. That is a huge step forward in the right direction. Step 4, you want to do the exact same thing that you did with the saddle pad, but now you do it with the saddle. And there's one thing I want to point out here. You don't want to be saddling your horse tied up just yet. She's not ready. So make sure you only do these exercises with you with the rope halter in an enclosed space. but please don't try this with her tied up. It's just going to be too much for her. She needs to be able to move. So do the exact same thing with the saddle that you did with the saddle pad. But since you did a lot of the work with just your saddle pad, it's going to be significantly easier with the saddle. So sure enough, I'm guaranteeing that you're going to bring the saddle out and start doing the same things, do the saddle pad exercise, then start doing it with the saddle. I bet you she's going to stand there and let you put the saddle on her. Again, get the saddle on her, quit. That's the end of the day. Reward her for that. Rub her to death with that saddle on. And do it on each side. Again, and now you have your horse saddled. Step 5, and this is kind of the test of everything that you've done already. So I want you, again, with the halter and the rope on her, bring her in your enclosed space, get her saddled. And now what I want you to do is bring her back to the mounting block and do the same exercise that you did in step 1, which is just getting her to come up to the mounting block. Allow you to just stand there with her, and you're higher than her because you're in the mounting block, and she's going to come up to you on each side, right to the point where you would be getting on. What I want you to do in addition to this is then start stepping into the saddle. Now, if you start stepping into the saddle and she starts to move, just take your foot out, let her move, get her back to where you want her to be, and try again. Just keep trying. And I guarantee you, you're going to step onto the saddle and she's going to not move. Make a big deal out of it. As soon as she stands there, just take your foot out of the stirrup and pet her to death. Do this on each side. Then do the same thing, but go to where you're getting halfway up. Each side, same thing. When she stands there, you rub the hair off of her, pet her to death. And then, again, getting on. Get all the way on, jump off. Get all the way on, jump off. Do this on each side. And now, you've done it. You've mounted on your horse with the saddle on the mounting block, and she stood there for you. So it's just a matter of breaking everything down into these little steps, and you will be able to do this. You can do this. If you have a question for Clinic Horsemanship, be sure to go to ClinicHorsemanship.com and click on the orange button, and you'll be able to ask us a question with a voicemail. You're also welcome to send me an email or leave a comment, and I will go through those for your questions as well. See you next week.